Janice.
Good
Muldoon.
afternoon. Welcome to Afternoons with the Muldoons. Hopefully you're having a fabulous day and fabulous week so far. How about you?
Yeah, it's a good week. Good
It's a
week.
good week.
We've the weather's been good so far in September
Yeah.
here in Northern Ireland, where we're streaming live to you from. So let us know in the comments. If you're watching live, type live in the comments. If it's replay, type replay. Yeah, we really want to know. We'd love to hear from you guys and want you to participate. So let us know. Yeah, it's been a great week. Lots going on.
We are preparing for our Thrive workshop, which is happening on Saturday.
Yeah.
And that was kind of part of the topic of discussion that we wanted to have today. You know, so many people that we talk to, we're no strangers to it. And I know many of our clients and friends are not either. Looking at making change, and how that can be really challenging.
Yeah.
You don't have to look any further than, New Year's resolutions, I guess, is probably a great place to start where,
Yeah.
With the best of intentions, we say, oh, okay, that is it. This year, I'm going to do this. I'm going to change that. And then what we find is that change is really hard. You've got to have something to anchor back to, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of the big things that comes up, and I think that this is something that maybe isn't so obvious for people. So when you think about making change, let's use an easy one or one that people tend to, gravitate to a lot is weight loss, right?
Yep.
So people will go, I want to lose weight. I want to lose 10 pounds. I want to lose 20 pounds. Then they fall off the wagon. They go back to their old habits and then, things don't work out. So one of the big things about that is we know that we will behave in a way that is congruent with what we really believe that we are or who we are, right? Our
absolutely.
identity.
Yeah. I mean, you can never go beyond who you believe you are.
Yeah.
You're always going to show up as who you believe you are, as you just said, and that's the thing. You got to change that identity.
Well, that's where the challenge comes for people. So it's funny because people think, oh, well, if I just, okay, so I decide what I want. So here's the kind of the process, right? You decide what you want.
Mm-hmm.
You make those agreements,
Mm-hmm.
which we won't go into too much detail, but this is what we've been working on for our workshop on the weekend is making agreements with yourself of actually, what you are going to do. And it's non-negotiable, what it is that you want and what you're going to do. But it goes beyond putting the actions or the processes in place. So if you are going to lose 20 pounds, well, what are those actions and what are those habits that you need to change? But what anchors it and what makes you go to the gym when you don't want to go to the gym and eat the salad when you don't want to eat the salad is if you can change that belief about yourself that you're not, if we use examples, I always struggle with my weight, right? That is a belief that someone may have, and that's what knocks them down at the first hurdle is because internally that's where the belief is. So even if you start out with the best of intentions and you're going to go to the gym and this and that, if in the back of your mind you honestly believe I'm always going to struggle with my weight, that's where you fall off, right?
Well, yeah, absolutely. It's certainly one of them. I think that again, if you're here, please just put live in the comments. If you're watching it later, put replay. Let us know. Yeah, on that. I mean, think about this for a second. You think about yourself. You think about people. People want to change something. Look, here's the bottom line. In our lifetime, we are constantly evolving. Like it or not, that's who we are. That's why we get frustrated when we're like, fuck, why can't I get this? Oops, I swore. So that's the thing. We're like, why can't I get this? I know that I want it, but I can't get it. And what I found in my own personal experience and working with so many other people is you got to raise your standards. That's where it starts. I mean, there are other steps in place, with getting honest with yourself and things like that. But if you're not willing to raise your standards, then you got to get honest with yourself, stop bullshitting yourself, and just admit, maybe I don't want this as bad as I think I do. Because we often sit in the mirror, see, as we're talking about weight, we sit in the mirror and we sit there and put ourselves down. You're, oh, fuck, look at this. And, and it doesn't fit and whatever, we get angry and we get pissed off. But, like the weekend comes and, maybe it's been a tough week. Maybe you got a couple of no's. Maybe the invoice didn't get paid. Maybe the bank said no, whatever it is, shit happens in our lives where suddenly, it's easier to just revert back to what we were doing because it's easy, because we can get instant connection there. And so we've got to find a way to raise our standards. So as you were saying, when the shit hits the fan, when you get that pushback, which we all get, no matter what kind of change we're trying to make, you can hold yourself to a higher standard. As you said, hey, I made an agreement with myself. And I just wanted to add one thing quickly. This is one of the things we talk about, like that we're going to cover in this program. Having worked and coached so many people, is that most goal setting programs and shit like that, it doesn't work. You don't have to look any further than the people around you.
Well, and you know why? Because what I was going to say was, I think that it's kind of like, I sometimes feel like, we've been lied to whenever we don't talk about these fundamental things. So it's like, okay, so we've been taught to believe that you kind of go, okay, so I'm going to create a goal and it's got to have, I don't even remember what the things are, the SMART goal things, right? It's got to be time bound and it's got to be achievable and it's got to be all the things, right? Which is fine.
Yeah, all that makes
all
sense.
of that makes sense. But what nobody ever talks about is, what about things like self-doubt? What about things like imposter syndrome? What about things like negative self-talk? Because really, that is the stuff that derails us. It's not that you just went, oh, I want to eat the bag of cheesies, right? When you said you were going to lose weight, or, have a cigarette when you said you were going to quit smoking. It's not those things. It's the underlying, it's that negative self-talk. It's the self-doubt. If it's, can I really do this? Am I really good enough? Who do I think I am doing this? I mean, we see it with our clients all the time that are really putting themselves out there, as entrepreneurs and professionals and stuff. Imposter syndrome can be a big deal. The fear of what other people are going to think about you, what other people are going to say about you. All of these things are things that you have to really work on, and we constantly have to work on if we really want to get the life that we want, if we really want to achieve the things that we want to achieve.
100%. Karen, how are you? Thanks for checking in. Good to see you. Okay, you can't make the workshop on Saturday. That's okay. We're going to put the link in the comments later here, unless you have it handy. We may put it in there, but it doesn't matter. We'll get it in there later.
Yeah.
It's happening this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's going to be an intensive workshop called Thrive. And we're really excited about this program because, this is kind of what we're talking about today. We touched on a little bit, last week, and we really wanted to take some time today because here we are, in the last quarter of this very weird, strange sort of year where, we talked about people, having different conversations with themselves, and whether we like it or not, we all talk to ourselves, there's always that internal dialogue, but people are wanting more and they're asking for more. I mean, we're seeing divorces and things like that at an all-time high. I mean, people are just going enough. But if you don't know what that next step is, this is where, like, having goals are a good idea, right? But I'm saying the reason why goals don't work is because often we're going after things that we think we want and we really lack the clarity of, but not just why do I want? Because everybody's done that. Here's my goal. Okay, what's your why? That's not enough. There's so much more to it, that when you get it right, then you're like, now I know when I wake up in the morning exactly why I'm going after what I'm going for. And I'm going to get there because I have a level of commitment and confidence and a level of agreement and standards that I know are going to push me through to where I want to go. And so that's why it's just really important. If you can make this workshop this weekend, it's 29 quid. It's nothing. You're going to get 10 times that in value at least by attending this. So here we are at the end of this quarter. Now's an opportunity for you to take some time to reflect and maybe even reset. Say, hey, you know what? I'm winding some things down here now. at the end of the year. There is some stuff, there is some shit I'm not taking into the next year. You can do that for yourself, but you know what? Ourselves included, you can go it alone or you can get some help, and get, going out and reaching out and getting help, whether it be from us or a friend or whomever. There's nothing wrong with that. It's the ones who do nothing about it. That's the problem, is when you just accept things for the way that they are. And so, like with what, you've been talking about today, you got to have the right reasons in place and the right process.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, the reason that this was stuff that we've done live a lot. But we decided we wanted to do this as a virtual workshop because sometimes we just don't take time out to do things for ourselves, right? We know that it's important, and self-development and growth and all that stuff is important, but we get so busy caught up in everyday life and taking care of business and families and all the different responsibilities. So we were like, you know what, let's make this really easy, where if anybody really wants to just take a few hours out of their day, get really, really clear on their direction, on their purpose, all of those things that are so important, and to be able to actually put plans in place, not just talk about it, but actually go away with a plan to go, you know what, we're coming into 2023 unbelievably.
Yeah.
And I know where I'm going and I know how I'm going to get there. So I'm super excited. We both are. I mean, the people that have signed up already, we're super excited to jump on with you on Saturday, and there are still some spaces available.
Yeah,
If anybody
absolutely.
would like to
Absolutely.
join.
Absolutely. And so, one might ask the question, okay, so like, why are you guys doing this? Why do you guys even do what you do? And I think that that's a really important question. For some, it's obvious. We have, found ourselves in a fortunate position where, we've been able to work with businesses and individuals, and being able to develop a process that allows them to have breakthroughs. And that's really important to us, because in our own life, we face many struggles, and we had to find ways to work through that. And thankfully we did. And we invested in ourselves, and we became like resolute in figuring out, like, how do we get from where we are now to the place in which we know we can be. We know it's available, but we got to figure out, how do we get out of our way in order to make that happen? Because that's, I think, what we found most of the time is you just need to get out of your own way, but it's easier said than done, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Pretty much anyone you talk to at any given time, there's always going to be something they want to improve or change. It's like I talked about earlier. It's the evolution of our human experience. But so often we end up settling. And it's usually because we're afraid that things are not going to work out, that the past is going to repeat itself, right? Or, we're not going to follow through, because you think about it, the amount of people that have set goals that didn't achieve what they wanted, not this year, like for years, like that's optional. But I also get it. And I know you get it too, is like, if what you're trying isn't working, you got to change what you're doing. But if you don't know what to change, then you are going to get into this loop where it's just like Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
The next year comes, you get into this state that we call hope. Well, I hope next year's better. Well, I hope I can maybe commit to losing that weight. I hope that's it. I hope that this is the last time, and all that stuff.
Yeah. I think, one of the big things too is that we have to remember, like what Brian was saying, we can beat up on ourselves and be hard on ourselves, because the one thing we have to remember is our brains are hardwired to keep us in our comfort zones. So whenever we are pushing ourselves out there to make significant change in our lives and do something different, our brain is actually working against us, going like, oh, if you just stay here, we know this is we know what's predictable and nothing is scary over here. And that's where you have to have those tools to overcome that and work through what is naturally going to come up and challenge you.
Yeah, that's like so important what you just said there, Janice, because the one thing that we've all become masterful at is, beating the shit out of ourselves, being really hard on ourselves. You know it. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. But what if you could change that? What if you could take all that time and energy and resources that you put in, all that emotion and everything, into judging and criticizing and comparing yourself, taking all of that and now investing it in everything that can be possible for you. Look, whatever your Everest is, you can get there. It doesn't have to be, oh, I'm going to make 10 million this year, or I'm going to run 3 Ironmans, or whatever it is. It doesn't have to be, out of this world. An Everest can be, I want to save my marriage this year. I just want to wake up and feel better about who I am. I want to stop lying to myself about the things that are going on in and around my life. And I've been trying to convince myself or pretend that it's not as bad as it is. It doesn't have to be epic, but they're important. And that's why I say you're Everest, because with anything like that, there are challenges there. But when you know the path to take and the steps to put into place so that you can get to the top, that's when you get momentum. That's when you go, oh, wow, what else can I do? And you start to get a taste for that. And you realize, you know what? I don't want that, which I had before. I figured that out. Now I'm on a path to figuring something else out. And you've seen it time and time again, the people that get that. And suddenly you see the transformation. They look differently. They show up differently, sound differently. They're doing different things, and so whatever that is for you, we encourage you to invest in the things that are going to help you, and beating yourself up, criticizing yourself, focusing on your regrets, the things that you've done wrong. It's not the key. The good news is you're not alone. Everybody's done it. Everybody's got regrets. Everybody has guilt. Everybody has things that they wish they'd done differently. Everybody's fucked up. Sorry, I'm just being really transparent here. Not everyone gets it right, and that's just part of life, but it's how we respond to it. And what are we working towards? Because if that becomes the story of the day, then that becomes the story of our life. That's why some people say, oh, life's a bitch and then you die. Sorry, I'm not signing up for that.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing when you started out earlier saying why do we do these things that we do? And I think the biggest one for me is I think that it's so sad if someone goes through their whole life and they have so many regrets to look back on, or that they had not gone after the things in life that they wanted to go after because of fear of failure or any of those things that come up. So it's like, I know if we can inspire, one person to make change and go after something that they really, really want in their life, whether it's a relationship or leaving a job that they hate or whatever it is, just improving their lives and being able to be happy in the day, not I'll be happy when, because we don't know when is going to come. So if we can inspire people to make those kind of changes, that's what it's all about.
That's it exactly. And you don't have to, for those of you that don't know part of our story, we made the decision to move to Northern Ireland. It's almost 11 years now. But did you hear the word in there? We made the decision.
Mhm.
So many people say, why'd you move here? You think it was a decision. We made a choice of where we wanted to live, the things that we wanted around us, the environment, the lifestyle, everything, and did it come with sacrifice? Absolutely. It came with a lot of sacrifice. Was it worth it? Yes, it was. Did it happen overnight? No, it didn't. It took years, but we knew what we wanted, and our reasons for wanting it and our clarity around it were such that, we were willing to do whatever it took in terms of following our game plan so that we could make it a reality. And, we're ordinary people who have just made the decision to invest in things that we feel would enhance our lives, that would make an ordinary life a little more extraordinary. Because our life before, we had a great life, but we just wanted more. We wanted more of other things, and you can have that too. You just have to believe. And if you're struggling with the beliefs, maybe consider hopping onto this workshop.
And you know what else I would love? You know what else I would love too? For anybody, I know Brian mentioned earlier, if you're on here live or if you're checking the replay, I would love, because any of this stuff really is sort of food for thought for us. Like, is there something in your life that you want to change? Whether I don't know if you want to put it in the chat, like personally, professionally, you want to move somewhere, you want to, get a new job, you want to do something different. It would be great for us to hear, because we always love it when we work with people, hearing what their big goals and what their big aspirations are for life. So if you want to drop that in there, that would be really cool.
Yeah. And that's something that takes a lot of courage, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Because, it's just easier to, you think about it, like from the time when you were a kid, when you said something you didn't realize, and all of a sudden someone laughed at you, or a group of other kids laughed at you, you felt this sense of shame, you were embarrassed, and you retreated. And, when things like that happen and we start to get affected by all that social pressure growing up, and we have to get in line and show up the way that we're supposed to, the way that we're expected to, well, then naturally, we're apprehensive to say, well, hey, this is what's coming up for me. Here's what I fear, and I get that. But, it's one of the things that we talk about in the program. I don't want to give too much away, but it is around truth, and that it is your truth that's going to set you free. But sadly, we think they're little secrets that we're keeping inside, but they're not secrets. And you know it because you know the truth.
Yeah.
And so, don't be afraid to, who gives a shit what someone else has to say about you? What matters is what you think about you. So, if it's like, hey, I want to fix my marriage or whatever it is, like, don't be afraid to weigh in, because it's the acknowledging, it's just putting it out there, and we've seen so many people who have come out on social media and different things and shared their story. Mm-hmm. And what do most people do? They applaud it.
Yeah.
They go, thank you for being so courageous, and sharing that story with me. It really inspired me to take a look at my own life and things like that. So, I get it. We're not saying air all your dirty laundry. We respect everyone's privacy. We're saying, as Janice said, if there's something that's coming up for you, like, just go, yeah, I want to be happier in my life, or yeah, I want to lose some weight, or I want to get more vacation time, or I want to, get a new job, whatever, new career, sell my business. Doesn't matter. Go ahead and share it with us. Type in here live if you're live, and replay if you're watching the replay. Love to hear from you. So that's basically a wrap, I think, for today. Is we just really wanted to let everyone know. Obviously, we got guests lined up coming back on here from next week onward, but with this all important workshop coming up, we wanted to make sure that we did our best to reach out to as many people as possible. It's 4 hours this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And I absolutely promise you, this will be the most intensive half-day workshop you've attended this year. And what you're going to come away with is absolute clarity and certainty about what you want and the steps toward getting it, not just for 21 days until it fizzles out. No, that you will have real meaning behind what you're doing. So imagine having that coming out of a very challenging year and probably into an equally challenging year, but for you to be setting yourself up for success so that you can just live each day feeling better about who you are, experiencing more happiness, more joy. And that's not to say that, you're not in a good place right now. Thank you very much, Janice.
I was putting the link in the comments. I was going to put it in there, and then you started talking because you're
talking guy. Yeah. So yeah, all I wanted to say was there's the link in the chat.
Yeah.
It's not to say that this program is for people that aren't happy or whatever. Look, lots of people are very happy in their life. That's not what this program is about. It's about taking where you're currently at and deciding on what those next improvements are that you want to make, right? Like I said, whatever your next Everest is, you just be like, yeah, I just want to, create a better daily habits for myself, so I want to have, I want to just invest in myself and do something good for myself. It's 29 pounds. There's a link. Go ahead. Sign up for it, 10 a.m., 2 p.m. here in the UK. No, we don't have it rolling out yet for Canada and North America. But if you want to know and you want us to run one, let us know, and we'll be happy to do that. And I guess
adjust the times for any of those North American peeps that want to jump on next time.
Absolutely. So anyway, hope that you're having a great week.
Yes.
And hope to see you on Saturday. And
yes. And for those of you that we don't see on Saturday, we will see you here back next week for the next live
Yeah.
afternoons with the Muldoons.
Yeah, make sure you tell your friends to join us here, and we got some really great, interesting, and influential guests coming up. And again, we do this. Why do we do this? We do it for fun. We do it because it's an opportunity to spend time with you, and hopefully have some fun, and come away with a few things, just to improve our day and improve our lives. So that's
Yeah,
why
and
we
you
do
know
it.
what? I was going to say, we really do appreciate it if you do weigh in on the chat, like it, or say hi, something, because when we stopped doing afternoons with the Muldoons, we didn't
Yeah.
realize there was more people watching than we thought, because they were like, hey, why don't you do that anymore? I used to
Yeah.
like it, and my brother used to tune in and stuff. But you got to let us know you're here. So
Yeah.
just even give us a like or a hi so we know that you're tuning in and that we're reaching people and we're not just here talking to ourselves. Okay.
Don't like get involved, because the Facebook algorithm, it acknowledges this stuff, which means it's going to show it to more people, which means maybe we have the opportunity to grow this into something that can be a lot of fun for all of us. So
Absolutely.
consider doing that. Just hit that like button, thumbs up, whatever.
Yeah.
In the meantime, have a great week, everybody. Appreciate you being here. Take care.